Good afternoon, and welcome to Everybody, the podcast which shares stories that highlight people in life that make the world an interesting place, which ultimately ties us all together in unique and wonderful ways. And who am I, you might ask? I would be the head wrapped socialite, wife, mom, micro influencer in the fashion and etiquette world. But on this podcast, I will be introducing you to some people who I've had the opportunity to meet along my journey, who have helped enrich me in my life in beautiful ways, and who I hope will do the same in yours. Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the first episode of Everybody. And on today's episode, we have two special guests, Noah and Rachel Morris.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Excited to be here.
I'm glad that you both are here. Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory about Noah and Rachel. Noah and Rachel first met when they were freshmen at Loyola University in Chicago. And shall we say, the rest is history. They have a beautiful love story that I wanted to share with all of you. And in this hope that you all will find inspiration, I hope you will find love and also peace within your soul. So let's start. Noah and Rachel, could you tell me a little bit about who you both are, how you met? Share your story with the people.
Yeah, I guess we can introduce ourselves first.
Sure.
My name is Noah Morris, and I am a second-year law student at Georgetown University's Law Center. Grew up in Rochester, Minnesota, was born on the East Coast in Maryland, and after high school, I knew I kind of wanted to get out of Minnesota, so I decided to go to Chicago, where one of my mentors growing up had gone to school at Loyola Chicago. And I don't know, it's a long path, and that's a different story, but that kind of brought me to where I am now, and that's how I met Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Yep, my name is Rachel. I'm currently in my first year of a master's in clinical nurse leadership. And I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, always loved Chicago, so I knew that when I was deciding what university to go to,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be at a Chicago school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I ended up at Loyola University Chicago. And very grateful to have met Noah there.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. Just we've thought about other schools we were thinking of attending, and just how a simple decision like that can really change the trajectory of your life. So we're excited to chat about it today.
I agree with that. And not to digress, but I will tell you that when you say that, one little decision, yay or nay, really does catapult you on a life's journey that you had no idea, that you were embarking on
Absolutely.
at the time.
Yeah.
So I think it would be interesting to share with the listeners out there, how do you remember meeting each other? And Noah, Rachel, I'll go to Noah. Is that okay first?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I can say the first day that I remember meeting Rachel was we were on the same floor in Simpson. We were part of this. They have these groups called learning communities that the
Mhm.
first years enter into if they want to.
Mhm.
And the learning community that I was a part of was the the service and faith
Okay.
learning community. And we had this big thing outside of one of the main buildings on campus where we had everybody from our floor come together, and we did some icebreakers, kind of met each other. And one of the things is we stood around in a circle and we played this icebreaker game, passing like a ball back and forth.
Mhm.
And I remember looking across the circle and seeing this, this redheaded girl on crutches. And, I just thought, she was very beautiful, and, I really would love the chance to meet her and talk to her, and, maybe something would happen, maybe something wouldn't. But, yeah, and then the second night that I think that we really started talking and hanging out the first time was all Rachel's doing. So
Yeah,
Do tell.
I love swimming. So my best friend from high school came to Loyola as well, and she was in the community, and she lived down the hall, and we were chatting, and we were like, let's try to get a bunch of people to go jump in the lake, because the campus is right on the lake, and there's a bunch of little strips of beaches near our dorms. So we found a few people who were like, yeah, okay, like it's a little chilly out, but let's do it. And as we were walking to the beach by us, I saw Noah just heading back. I don't know where he was coming from. He was walking back to our dorms, and I stopped him and I said, hey, yeah, we're all going to jump in the lake if you want to come with. And he kind of hesitated for a second, but he was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And I didn't know he wasn't much of a swimmer, much of a like water guy, but he definitely fooled me that night, because he came and we were all hanging out, swimming in the dark in the lake, and it was super fun. And that was kind of like one of the first moments I had, I think, with him, where I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool kid. Like I want to get to know him, and we really became good friends from that point on. Our floor had this dynamic. I guess we kind of like imposed roles for everyone, and he was like given a very much a dad personality, dad role.
That's interesting.
And I was given the mom role, and so we kind of just like played around with that. We're just goofing around a lot. Became good friends. Do you remember that when we went to Milo's?
So what exactly is a Milo? What?
It was because of this whole like dad mom thing. We were joking around. We were like, oh, we should go get dinner.
yeah, so we were just messing around and we were talking about going to get dinner, and we ended up at this place on the side of Loyola is near was it Devon Street goes north south, and then
Devon is east west. Broadway's north south.
Broadway's north south. So we went. Oh, it was off Broadway. I was just thinking about it a different way. But so we went to this little like hole in the wall place off of Broadway called Milo's. To this day I could not tell you what we ordered.
I was going to say,
tell you-
that was going to be my
I
question.
can't tell
Like,
you
what did you guys
what I
eat?
But I do know, like, it was like it was weird because I don't know, for me at least, but I don't know for both of us, we're still trying to figure out, like, if we were like, if this was a date, if we were just like having dinner as friends or whatever. But I was a college kid with no money in my bank account, so I went into the bathroom at Milo's and faked that I had to go, actually use the bathroom, and then I called my dad and I was like, hey, can you help me out? I need like $40, $50 because I don't know if I'm on a date. I might be on a date. I need to get food for the date. And, and then so we had that first meal, and then, I think, I don't know. I think it was still like a quasi date, but it wasn't anything.
We started dating.
It wasn't anything, formal. And then
You're just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
our first date came months later on December 9th, where we went to this.
Oh, you remember the date.
I do remember the date.
That's yeah.
It was a very interesting dinner, but we went to this
It was Chinese. Yeah.
Chinese place on Michigan Avenue,
Mm.
and we had some.
So moving on up from Devon.
Moving on up from Milo's. Except it cost about the same because I think we were both so nervous that we ordered
I
like
ate soup.
soup.
Whenever I'm nervous, and I didn't really date before Noah, and so I was like, oh, this is all new, and I'm so nervous, and I really like him. I was like, I can't eat. My stomach is like totally in knots. So I had an egg drop soup or something.
And we kind of got to be. It was interesting because we were sat in between some really interesting couples, and they were having like very just wild discussions about stuff that was going on in their lives.
Mhm.
And so we kind of got to be a fly on the wall, and it, helped sort of ease the tension in the conversation and break the ice a little bit more. And then afterwards, we went on a walk down Michigan Ave towards the, I don't even remember what the name of the park, Millennial Park.
Mhm.
And then, we just kind of had a moment just out there, the moonlight, and yeah, and then we
You don't
came
want to
back
tell them
home.
about the social experiment you shared with me?
Oh, you can say that if you want
You don't
to.
want to?
You can say that. If you...
We were walking, and we were just like walking side by side. We weren't like holding hands or anything. And then he started telling me about this social experiment he did in sociology class in high school, where what would you go up and like go up to strangers and hold their hands? So he was like, "Oh, like this," and he grabbed my hand.
That's smooth.
That was kind of his little way of holding my hand, which I thought was really funny and very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
But yeah, and then went back home, and that was date number one of the Bucks, and from then on it's been pretty strong, going strong.
Yeah, but I was nervous after that first date.
Yeah.
Were you really?
Oh yeah.
How come you were
I
nervous?
remember calling my mom because I was like I really like him, but I'm so nervous. I had dated one person before, and I had a really hard time like being vulnerable. I grew up with six brothers. Like there wasn't a lot of that in my house. Not. I mean, it was there. Not a knock to my house. We talked about
You have a lovely home.
Yeah, but it wasn't my strong suit for sure. So I remember calling my mom and be like, I'm afraid. I don't know how to do this. Like, I didn't trust my own feelings. And she kind of talked me down and got me to the point where I knew I wanted to take that risk with him. That risk at being vulnerable and being very open and letting myself feel things I was afraid to feel. Like
feel those emotions.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm so glad she did because here we are.
That's wonderful. So in our maturity, we have a lot of wisdom that we can, impart to others. And for the listeners, you can't see Noah and Rachel right now, but their body language is so cute. Like, okay, so they're sitting in a chair. I'm gonna set the scene across the desk for me, and they are angled into each other. And when Noah is talking, Rachel's like looking at him like it's the cutest thing. And then when Rachel's talking, Noah's like leaned into her, and he's looking at her with like the loving eyes. And I will share with you all too that they are newlyweds. And I would like you guys to even share, like, I love the story of how you guys met, and going back to the whole thing, it's not a coincidence of why we meet each other and how we meet each other and the why. But I want you guys to share how you went from dating. What was the catalyst to you becoming married?
One thing that I kind of provided that catalyst throughout our relationship is, I don't necessarily think of, I don't know, when I think about dating, I think about doing it with the intention of dating someone that you could see yourself spending your life with. And so when I started that relationship with her, she was already someone that I was, friends with up to that point, but she's someone that I could see myself, if the relationship went well, and if she felt the same way, I could see myself spending my life with her. And I think that made the transition a lot less of a jolt than it might have been, because 3 months in, I already knew that I loved this woman, and a year in, I got her a promise ring, and from then on, it was just kind of the next natural step in our relationship. So our senior year, I had already found out that I was going to law school, and I think at that point I already knew that I was going to DC, and I wanted her to come with me, and sorry, and and then we had some conversations about moving and living together and what our relationship was going to look like in the future. And, she had different plans. Like she had nursing school that she wanted to do. And, we just kind of mutually agreed to some extent to take that leap into marriage together and face that next chapter of the unknown, with each other. And I bought a ring. We went out to pretty much the same first date that we had. And proposed to her in the winter of Chicago on your birthday.
Mm.
And, went ice skating afterwards, fell, broke my glasses. but I don't know. It was, I think that mentality of I think that mentality of dating someone who you could see in the future
Mhm.
and know it's a possibility is something that it wasn't jumps in the relationship. It was more just like stepping together.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it took
Huge.
I think a lot of trust, at least for me. I mean, I'm sure for you, but once we found out he got into all these law schools to start immediately after we graduated, I also had plans for grad school.
Mhm.
But I made the choice to put them off a year to see where we would be because I knew I wanted to marry him. We
Mhm.
knew we wanted to get married before we started that next chapter of our life.
Mhm.
And I was very scared because I had never planned on leaving Chicago
Mhm.
until I met him.
Mhm.
And I was very scared to make that decision to move to DC with him. But
Mhm.
I remember we were going for a walk because we talked about it on end. Just that's one of the, I think, things that I'm really blessed with in this relationship is he's an amazing communicator. We talk endlessly about just everything.
Mhm.
But we were for
Important.
a walk, and we were just by the lake walking around, and I remember having this moment of peace,
Mm.
just knowing that I could do this. I could move to DC with him,
Mm.
and that was kind of like the first moment that I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this. Wherever we go is home, So it took a lot of trust. It was a big leap of faith for me to do that. But I'm really glad we did. It's been amazing, and I think one of the things we've learned a lot in this first year of marriage is that it's not 50-50.
Mhm.
Sometimes I give 75 and he gives 25.
For sure.
Sometimes I give 60-40. It's
Mhm.
not always 50-50. And in that moment, I knew like this is what I can do for us
Mm.
is I can put off my plan, and I'm in grad school now. It worked out,
Yep.
right? So I can put this off for him because really I knew how important our marriage would be.
Mm.
So
And you made that a priority. It's the
Mhm.
fulfillment of love,
Yeah.
and that's exactly like what it is. And when you guys were talking, the first thing that honestly like came to my mind too is like faith, hope, and love.
Mhm.
And the greatest of these is love.
Mhm.
And that's what you guys shared. It was like the seeds that were planted at the very beginning of when you guys first met without
Mhm.
you guys even knowing that those seeds were being planted.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, just watching you guys, interact with each other and just the conversations, the way Noah, like you treat Rachel, the way that you treat Noah, it's such a beautiful thing. It's so refreshing to see. And honestly, that's why, like, I wanted to have you guys as my first guests. You have so much to offer, to the world. One thing that I admire about you both as well is that you allow each other the space to grow.
Mhm.
And over these years of you all knowing each other and dating and the friendship piece and now the marriage, you just allow yourselves to like flourish.
Mhm.
And it doesn't, like you said, sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 30-70, but the other person there will have your back. And if there's one, piece of wisdom, and that's not what I do, is I give the wisdom, but always look at each other in the eyes and remember the reasons why you fell in love in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have so much love and joy. And before we close this out,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thank you both from the bottom of my heart. I mean, you guys inspire me, even when you don't know that you're being an inspiration to me. And that is 100% the truth. Wisdom and knowledge and love and fortitude, you guys have by the millions. And is there anything that you guys haven't shared that you would like to share? I'll leave the floor to you. Anything or any lasting words of wisdom you would like to share?
Lasting words of wisdom.
It's so hard because there's just so much we're still learning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm definitely, you can be two individual people
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
together, but in communion as one.
Amen.
We still
Mhm.
are our individual personalities. We have our likes and our dislikes, our
Mhm.
hobbies. We're both in grad school, but every morning, every night, we come together. We as one.
Yeah.
Just,
Mhm.
and I think that's really important to remember. Is I don't feel like I've had to give up anything.
Mm.
And I think it is knowing that it isn't always 50-50. I'm just gonna go back to that
Yeah.
because it's so important to me in this year that we've been married, because there are moments where I've been like, I'm giving so much, or
Mhm.
I'm sure you have felt the same.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think just remembering that, like, I don't know.
It's
I'm sorry, I had a lot
being
to
real.
drink.
No, but it's
I
being
know what
real.
you're saying.
It's being real.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I think, and sometimes I think I sound a bit like a curmudgeon for being 24 years old, but I don't know. I think one of the big difficulties in people's relationships, especially see, it's a little too curmudgeon, but like people of our generation a little bit, is that the lack of knowledge that you do have to sacrifice,
Mm.
because you can't build something that's strong without helping helping someone else when they need more, or
Mhm.
giving more when you might not have the energy to give more. And it's one of the things that really grows you and really builds you into a stronger relationship down the line, because without that, if you're just two halves that or like two holes that just choose to hang out together but don't give that give and take, when that moment comes where it's like, and I'm grateful for the sacrifice that she made, because it's an amazing sacrifice, but
Absolutely.
the sacrifices that we made for each other building up to that moment, like, kind of built that foundation of, she took a leap where she moved across the country not knowing if she was going to get into a grad school,
Mhm.
to be with me and support me where I was and what I wanted to be. And that's the foundation. That's what makes a really strong. So it makes a very, very strong relationship, is
Yeah.
the willingness to do that for the other person without any
Compromise.
concern for
Mhm.
yourself.
When you're better
Yeah.
equipped when those instances come
Mhm.
up, when you might be at a crossroads, you're
Right.
way
Yeah.
better equipped to handle that with this kind of foundation. And I think we recently found out that we are expecting our first, which is crazy and exciting. And I just think like this, I mean, that is just going to be even more important when we
Absolutely.
welcome this
Yeah.
baby into the world.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you
Yeah.
both.
Yeah. No, it'll be it'll be a perfect example of this because there's gonna be
Mhm.
nights where you work
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
come home and you probably want to rest, but you give of yourself to that, and there's days that I'll finish off in the office and I'll come home and maybe I want to I'm still a 24-year-old. Maybe I want to play video games, but giving up that time for something that might be something that I want or something that would be fun for the betterment of her and the betterment of our child, whatever whatever the child will need. But I think we're very well equipped for the challenges it faces because of that foundation that we've built over the years.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting stuff.
Congratulations and congratulations, and always remember in that too that in your in your bag of tricks you also have your parents,
Mhm.
grandparents to rely on, your siblings, your
We've been
friends,
blessed, yeah, we've been
exactly,
blessed, yeah.
to carry you through too. So
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, honestly, both from the bottom of my heart for being here and for sharing your story
Of course. Thank you
with
for
the
having
world.
me.
Thank you. It
And
was awesome.
Me too.
and just know that you guys are always welcome to join me any day
Of course.
on any podcast. And many blessings to you on this next part of your adventure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys, and God bless.
God bless.
Yes.